Welcome back everyone to me attempting to play through Baldur's Gate 3 completely solo, meaning I recruit no companions. In case you missed last episode, I defeated Minthara and Priestess Gut, which leaves me just one last Goblin Camp leader to take down, Dhor Ragzlin, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, and I'll probably continue to pronounce wrong. Cleaning up something quick from last episode that I forgot about, putting a worm into my brain that I got of Minthara. I decided I was going to go with the Luck of the Far Realms ability, since this gives me a guaranteed critical attack at least once a long rest. I think this will come in handy when taking down stronger enemies, like perhaps Dhor Ragzlin. So as I left the camp, my intrusive thoughts almost took over. I picked up this rat here and watched Ghost Me threaten to throw it for a while and thought, man, I could just toss this rat. It'd be so easy to just toss this evil little goblin temple rat into the abyss. But no, that'd be mean to the rat. This rat didn't do anything wrong. Sure, it's in the goblin temple. It may be an evil rat, but the rat did nothing wrong. I'm gonna leave it alone. So I'm not quite sure what triggered it in my last fight. I don't know if it was a goblin hitting a war drum or the weird eyeball thing screaming into the abyss. I appear to have angered the entire goblin camp. So this is what we call very bad for the Dhor Ragman fight. Yeah, because I can't get in there to, place explosive barrels around and actually hit him. I'm gonna have to actually just fight him outright. This is going to be a whole lot harder than I expected. But Sneaky Frank, ever the optimistic, perhaps slightly dim-witted man he is, this is an opportunity for me here to actually get up to level 4. That might help me out in the fight a little. Is it going to make up for the fact that I can't get the drop on him and hit him with a bunch of explosive barrels? No, probably not. But hey, maybe at least I can get some extra health, yay! So my first task at hand is taking down these 6 goblins in the main room here. I think what I want to do is try to snipe a couple of them and then drag them away from the room, because if I can get them kind of in an alleyway, they can't, attack me all at once, which is bad for my health. So these two decided to run up and try to take my legs away from me, but I'm not having any of that. So I attacked the one on the right here, and even though I turned down the Luck of the Far Realms ability, I got a critical hit anyways and took this one out straight off the bat. So the remaining goblin from that first group of 2 decided to come up and keep me in place as well. So I attacked this one, and I decided I was going to use up my Luck of the Far Realms because I really wanted to take this down. Luckily that did enough damage, and it did kill it. Running a little low on health from some various goblin attacks, I decided I was going to throw one of these spike bulbs at this group here and hopefully inflict some bleed on them and do a little damage over time, and then run away and use up a health potion. Skipping ahead a few turns because it was mostly just me running away like a little pansy I am from these little goblins here. I made my way back up to the platform right next to the Minthara fight so I can get the high ground and shoot down on these goblins, hopefully take them out a little quicker and prevent some damage to me. The 2 goblins closest to me made their way up to the top of this platform here as I was hiding down on the other side to prevent them from shooting at me. And I got up there and I got so lucky. I used my offhand attack to take out the one with only 1 health, and then I took out the other one with my main attack with a lucky 12 damage. Beautiful. And now there's only 2 left. I made my way down from the platform and made easy work with these remaining 2 goblins here. Which means on to clearing out the rest of the goblin camp that's now quite mad at me. I made a quick pit stop to free the guy that was captured by the goblins earlier when Helson came to visit. And I don't have much to say to him, so I just set him free and sent him along his way back to warn the Grove that, there's a goblin army coming. Watch out. They don't smell real nice. So next up was taking out the goblins that were standing there in front of Donk Ronklonk's room. And they turned out to be a much bigger challenge than I thought they would. Maybe because I made some stupid decisions and kept dying to them. But it took me a good 3-4 tries to actually get through these guys here. So the first time through coming straight at them didn't work, so I said, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll go up to the rafters and I'll take out that archer that just summoned that warg first. And I don't really know why. For some reason, this triggered Raphael the demon to come see me. This was not at all where he triggered for my normal playthrough before this. It was like out on the road or something. I don't know why he showed up in the middle of the Goblin Temple, so I guess it's time to go talk to Mr. Demon Man. So I went to his very fancy-looking house that is definitely evil because he's a demon, and promptly told him to get away from me and leave me alone because I am Sneaky Frank. I am a man of standards. I will not be making any deals with the devil. Now, did I technically beat the goblins in this room this time? Yes, it actually worked fantastically to come up to the upper level first. I was able to get them to all climb up the ladder and be positioned in one spot, and I took them down no problem. However, me, Nate the gamer, not Sneaky Frank, is not the most intelligent one here. I decided, I'll go peek in on Dog Ragman's room, and Yeah, the booyog down there shot a ray of sickness at me and promptly killed me. So, of course I didn't save after that last fight and talking with the devil, so here we go again. I'm just gonna give you guys a little foreshadowing, because that stupid booyog, later, when I'm trying to actually do this fight, screwed me over so many times. I'm not even gonna get into it now, because I'll get into it later. Anyways, back to kill the original goblins again. Now, going back up to the top again, worked fantastically. That was definitely the method to take these guys out. And you may see here, it looks like I'm kind of an idiot and just slip on a random pile of grease up here that I will admit, I threw myself earlier. But the goblin missed me, and I'm gonna go with that's because I was laying face down on the ground. So, win-win, I guess? Now, when I went back, I triggered Raphael again because I had not saved me talking to him before, and because I wanted to speed through it because I already knew what he said, I was just hammering the spacebar, and it left some quite funny visual bugs of just random food floating in a red ethereal plane. So that was kind of fun. I was making my way through the upper areas of the temple trying to find loot, and I made my way into an incredible room. A room behind where the trader used to be, they ran off, completely full of explosive barrels and fire wine. So this is going to come in handy in the future. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get these down for the Donk Ronk Monk fight because they're all angry at me already, but this will help me out for future fights. So I promptly picked up all the smoke powder barrels I could and immediately sent them back to my camp for future use, and I'm not going to take the fire wine right now, but if I need them, I'll come back for these. Now, before I go actually fight Dongle Wrinkle Man, I want to see if I can get up to level 4. And I think if I take out the guard that was sitting behind Priestess Gut's room, the big, ogre in there, that might get me over the edge. I don't remember how much EXP she gives if you kill her, but we'll find out. Now, I think the best way to take her down here is do a sneak attack from the back and use my Luck of the Far Realms ability to guarantee a critical hit right off the bat. This was a good hit, did 26 damage right off the bat. Unfortunately, she has 75, so I still have a good ways to work through. My next move was to use the Blade Ward on myself, because she can only get one attack in a round, and it's a bludgeoning attack, so if it does half the damage, that'll hopefully keep me alive longer, because she does some insane damage with her strength attack. Luckily, I didn't even need it, because her first attack on me was a miss. Unfortunately, my next attack was a critical miss, so that's just how these things go. I only did 4 damage with the offhand attack. And well, the Blade Ward was a good call, because she didn't kill me here, she did do 15 of my 18 health, so that's bad. And so I tried to disengage, run away, but she ran up and bonked me for 18, which in fact, I'm no mathematologist, but 18 is more than 3, so I died. I decided to take a quick look through what spells I had, and I settled on using my favorite spell here. Explosive Barrel. It worked for Priestess Gut, probably worked for her bodyguard too. I decided what I was going to do. I was going to use a backstab first to use my Luck of the Far Realms ability, get a critical hit in right away, and then, because she'll be surprised, I'm going to light up the Explosive Barrel and do even more damage. This is just so nice, because this is exactly my goal of building Sneaky Frank. Do a lot of damage, really quick, and take out a singular, really high health enemy in no time flat. Some of the boss fights in this game so far have proved that idea a little flawed, since lots of the bosses have minions and whatnot, who like to come up to me, rip my arms off, and beat me with them. So I'm going to need to figure out a way to take out large swaths of enemies as well, but that's a later problem. At least what I built Sneaky Frank for right here works. Okay, random Sneaky Frank monologue over. Priestess Gut's bodyguard is dead, and not quite enough to level me up here, so I'm going to need to do a little bit more so I can hopefully get to level 4 before this fight. In the shambles of Priestess Gut's bedroom, I found 2 very useful items. The Amulet of Misty Step to hopefully help me be more sneaky, since I'm Sneaky Frank. Now I could be Sneakier Frank. Wonder if Withers and Camp will let me change my name to Sneakier Frank. I'll look into that later. And also, the book that lets me get into the Underdark, so I will be going down there later and probably dying a lot. Next up, I decided, you know what, Sneaky Frank is nice. I'm gonna let the spiders out of their cave down here, because they deserve to be free. They didn't do anything wrong to anyone. They just ate a few people. Is that really that bad? Anyways, so I opened up the cage, let them out. Didn't exactly realize they were going to run up to the room right in front of Dhor Ragzlin. So I guess I'm just going to have to play with them being there. I'm going to go with it fits with the spirit of the run. They're not directly helping me. They didn't offer to help. They just happen to be standing here. And, if the goblins want to kill the spiders, that's their problem. Now, that foreshadowing from earlier that was quite direct. The stupid Booyog, here's the first time she just randomly spotted me walking by, because I didn't realize she could see me, so I ran from that fight. And since I still need to level 4 for this fight, well, not need, more want, I decided to take out the front gate goblin guards, and that is hard to say. That's some alliteration right there. I think it's alliteration. I don't know a lot about English. Anyways, goblin guards need to be dead, need experience for me. So I made quick work of these goblins here. I dragged them back into the main part of the temple so I had a little more room to work with. Took out the archer first, took out the couple fighters right here, and then went back up to the front to take out the rest of the archers that were left. Piece of cake. Sneaky Frank makes quick work of goblins here. With these goblins dead, that means, oh my god, it's finally time to level up. I officially have hit level 4. This took way too long. Which this level here gives me some interesting options. I could have done it at any level, but earlier I mentioned I need something to take out large groups of enemies. I do great against one singular high health enemy, but when there's a bunch of enemies, I can't do anything about it. It's like fighting one large bear I've got down, but fighting 100 chipmunks in the woods, I can't do it. Which actually brings up an interesting question. Put down in the comments below how many chipmunks you think you could fight if you were totally unarmed. I think for me personally, and I've given this a lot of thought, around 200. You know, that'd be the point where there's just too many to deal with and I can't do anything about it. That is when they would get me. That's when the chipmunks would win. I'm getting completely off track. Back to Sneaky Frank. I gave this a lot of thought. I took two things into consideration here. One, what's something that'll give me an AoE attack to take out lots of enemies? And two, what fits lore-wise with Sneaky Frank? What's a class that's also sneaky that fits with the rogue? I settled on, for the AoE ability, it would have to be some sort of magic user. Either sorcerer, warlock, wizard, something that gets me some magic. And then the lore reason decided me to settle on warlock. Because for some reason, they feel like the sneakiest type of wizard. I don't know why, but that feels like the sneakiest type of wizard. So, Warlock it is. I decided to go with the Archfey subclass, since this would give me the Fey action, which would allow me to either charm enemies or fear them, which I think could help with, you know, fearing enemies away from me in a fight, as well as the Fairy Fire ability, which would help me land more attacks. For cantrips, I decided to go with the Eldritch Blast for some damage, and then the True Strike one to help me land some more hits as well. I don't want to miss anymore. I got so many misses before, I'm never missing again. By that I mean I'll miss plenty, but don't worry about it. For actual spells, I decided to go with the Fairy Fire, because as I mentioned earlier, that'll help me land more attacks. And then the Armor of Agathis, I think that's pronouncing that right, maybe, I don't know. But it gives me more temporary hit points, and lets me do cold damages to enemies when they hit me. So I decided to go rest up before the Dave Ragman fight, and it made me think something. All this level picking, there's no reason I need to have 3 levels in Rogue. 1 level in Rogue gets me my sneaky abilities plenty fine. So I decided to go back to Wrinkly Man in camp here and tell him to switch my levels around, and I went with 1 level in Rogue, and then 3 levels in Warlock to get some better spells. This also let me pick a couple Eldritch Invocations, which sounds perfect for Sneaky Frank because he's sneaky and Eldritch Invocations just sound sneaky and shady. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, I went with the Fiendish Vigor to give me the False Life, which does not require using a Warlock spell, which is amazing. And then the Thief of the Five Fates, which lets me bane other enemies, and it does use up a spell slot, but I can weaken some enemies in this fight here coming up. And since I have enough levels in Warlock to unlock a level 2 spell, I decided to go with Cloud of Daggers, because this is a persistent spell that's sort of an AoE, and any enemies that run through it are going to get a bunch of damage dealt to them, so hopefully this helps with the smaller enemies, and I keep it like right next to me and they have to run through it to get to me. That'll be handy, I think. And then next will let me pick a Pact Boon, but I decided to go with Pact of the Blade. It lets you use the spellcasting ability modifier instead of strength or dexterity for your weapons, which I don't think I'm really going to use, because since I have Rogue, the dexterity bonus is so much better. But hey, it might come in handy at some point, who knows? And now that I finally have all my leveling up in order, it's finally time to fight Door Hinge. Next episode. Nah, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you guys. We're doing it right now. So I'm going to try to sneak in there and throw down an explosive barrel. Maybe if he happens to run near it, I can hit it. But this is going to be kind of hard considering all the, aggro on me already. I was able to scoot one over towards these stairs here without being noticed. And hopefully for his first turn, he runs around down those stairs and ends up right about there. We'll see if it actually works out or not. He might have more movement speed than that, honestly. Now, I was going to run around to the other side instead of an explosive barrel in a similar spot on the stairs, and of course, that Booyog saw me again. This is the second time. I'm watching you, Booyog. You're causing me troubles here. Luckily, that Booyog rushed out towards me and actually activated the spiders, which conveniently, murdered it because they're large spiders. So that's useful. And this actually left me with a very unique opportunity of the largest spider was sitting in the room and not aggro towards anything yet, so I might be able to bring these guys in. We'll see here. I was hoping to stealthily take out the goblin at the top of the stairs before aggroing everyone, but that didn't exactly happen, and they saw me. So I guess the fight begins now. Quite surprisingly, door hinge ragweed stopped his turn right next to my explosive barrel, so that's perfect. I'm surprised that plan actually worked. So I hit the explosive barrel and took out 2 of the henchmen and did a good chunk of damage to Dhor Ragzlin. For my next turn, I decided to use the Fairy Fire spell to make everything easier to hit, and then pop a health potion because I took some damage from various sources through the last turn. Unfortunately, Dingle Ragalong decided that he wanted to take out the spider and then come over and try to take me out, and I'm not a big fan of that, but I guess, he's going for it, so alright. For my next turn, I decided to use False Life to get a little extra health, and then attack Donk Dinkle Doink with my bonus attack. Now, unfortunately, that False Life was even false to me, because Mr. Doorhinge here decided to use a lot of different things on me, and that resulted in my death. So, here we go again. So, round 2, I decided I was going to go with a different strategy. I'm going to come in from the other side of the room, open up this locked door, and after I attacked a couple things, because I got seen when I didn't really intend to, I decided to climb the ladder and go to the rafters. And I'm going to save you guys some time and just say, this was a horrible idea, and I died very quickly. So, round 3. Alright, I'm feeling it. Round 3 is the one here. I'm feeling good. So I snuck in, put down an explosive barrel, the stupid Booyog saw me again, so I dragged her out into the area with the spiders like I did last time, but this time she landed a Ray of Sickness on me and did quite a bit of damage, but I'm going to keep pressing forward. I think I can fight through this. It's just a little health I lost. So I was able to take her out no problem, use my Talisman of Aid I got from Priestess Gut, and get myself a little extra health for the fight here. So I moved back over to the other side of the room, dropped down another explosive barrel I took from my camp, and then decided to take out the Warlock first with a fire arrow that did just a little extra damage, and luckily I took it out in only one hit. This surprised everyone and allowed me an extra attack, which I used that extra attack to take out one of the level 1 guys that was chilling in this room here. I then moved back behind the doorway, so hopefully no one can shoot anything at me and they have to come out towards where I put the explosive barrel. Now, Mr. Raggedy Ann had other plans and ran way past my explosive barrels and right up on me. Luckily, I was still a little bit out of range for him to attack me, but, I kind of wanted to use that explosive barrel. Oh boy. I'm going to skip ahead a little in the fight here. You notice both me, Sneaky Frank, and Mr. Dorkinge here are both quite injured. I was able to do some good damage to him, but I'm quite hurt, so I decided I'm going to use a Scroll of Sleep, put him to sleep, take a turn to heal up, and get back and hopefully knock him out. This plan worked like a charm. I got away, healed up, and then decided to shoot an arrow at him and use my Luck of the Far Realms ability to guarantee a critical hit. This left him at very little health. Now luckily, my spider friends gave me some help here and brought him down to 4 health. And with my next attack, I decided to run up and just use a melee to hopefully get a better chance at killing him because I had 2 attacks instead of just 1. And this left him at 1 health. And what do you think happened when he had only 1 health? Somehow, I had plenty. Somehow, he managed to yeet me into the pit and kill me. He had 1 health left. He had 1. Are you kidding me? I guess we're going for round 5. Oh my god, I need to go to bed. Okay, after some short sobbing in the corner, I have a new plan here. Dobby the elf here can move much further than I originally thought, so I'm putting my explosive barrel right by the door here, so that hopefully once he runs up, he's just in range of it, and I can hit it and do a whole ton of damage to him. And since this Booyog has caused me a mountain of troubles in the past 4, I'm going to start the fight by using a sneak attack of the ranged variety on her and taking her out immediately. Now this actually worked fantastically. Of course, Dobby the sock thief said, hey, someone in the room just died, I should go check out what happened there, and ran right next to my explosive barrel. And then even aggroed right on the spider so that I could run around and just join in the fight instead of being aggroed right away. Perfect opening. So I scooted back so I was out of range of that explosive barrel there. Hit it with a firebolt and did okay damage to Mr. Ragman, but less than I was hoping, but I was able to take out one of his henchmen right away, which is a nice bonus. And I didn't even hurt my spider friend. Next up, I decided I was going to use my newfound Warlock abilities and summon a cloud of daggers right on top of Mr. Ragman himself, and also hopefully blocking off the stairway from anyone that wants to go down that direction. Seemingly unfazed by the pile of daggers on here, the angry door hinge of the hammer exploded my spider friend, so that's not ideal. For my next turn, I decided I was going with my patented strategy of running away from the room. If I get far enough away, he can't hurt me. This actually worked quite well, because it forced him to throw some javelins at me, which luckily one missed and the second one hit, but that allowed me to use my Hellish Rebuke I picked up from my Warlock class, which did a good chunk of damage to him. For my next turn, I decided I was going to use a scroll I had sitting around in my inventory collecting dust and hit him with a Scorching Ray spell. This luckily left him at only 14 health and did a whole ton of damage. This fight is looking the most promising out of all the ones I've had so far. Unless he throws me in another stupid pit. I'm getting away from the pit, actually. I wanted to see if I could take him out this turn, but I didn't have any spells sitting around that would guarantee doing enough damage, so I decided I was just going to hit it with an arrow for now, and then back off again and make him follow me. So I decided I was going to use a Scroll of Burning Hands on him now, because he ran up to me, and hopefully this does enough damage. And of course it didn't. It left him at 5 health, and that's okay. I just need to survive 1 turn of him damaging me. Oh, this is not good. Oh, no. Okay. I'm dead. I'm dead again. Seriously, this one was looking really good. Okay. Okay. So I set up this fight the exact same as before, because you know what? It was going well. I think I just got some bad luck there. And this time, once he ran up next to the explosive barrel and I hit it, it blew up and knocked him into the pit. Oh my god, sweet revenge. And he's only at 33 health now. Oh, fantastic. Now, Mr. Door Hinge Ragman Dobby the Elf here, not one to be held down, is deciding to leave the pit. But me and the giant spiders did some damage to him before he did, and he's at real low health. So he's dashing up to me now, and I'm feeling good about this. I'm just feeling great about this, actually. So being that I had not used up my Luck of the Far Realms ability yet, that means I can guarantee a critical hit as long as I hit, and I was able to hit him, so that did 11 damage, and oh my god, he's finally dead. This is incredible. Oh, that means I'm free. I don't have to fight him anymore. Oh, this is great. This also means I get an extra brain worm, and as much as I don't want to put more worms in my head, I do want extra powers. I decided to go with the concentrated blast, so hopefully if I'm concentrating on some sort of warlock spell, I can use this and do a big chunk of damage to enemies as I go. And with that, that feels like a natural point to wrap up this video, so thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this complete chaos and watching me fail repeatedly. And if you want to see more, hit that like button down below, and make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for the next time. I'll be just cleaning up a few more things in the starting area, and then I'll be moving on to Act 2, so I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited too.